I don't go to bars really if they're not queer. I'll go to a pub or something, but I don't go clubbing unless it's a queer bar. It just makes me feel really safe. I'm free to express the way that I want to, in my dress sense, in my character. I feel free, and there's everyone that I know and love around me, you know. And so I always it's a really, really safe space for me. I don't really go anywhere else.
I would say that I wouldn't have found my identity as myself now without it, for sure. I think a lot of queer people struggle to find their place. It's not until you kind of meet these sort of people who are like you, and you don't even necessarily know when you meet them that they are like you until you kind of give yourself a chance to get out of your shell. So I think without queer nightlife, I wouldn't be anywhere near the sort of level of myself that I am today.
It's quite difficult now because now we're not entirely sure where to pick up from because so many of the bars have now closed as well, and like some of them I don't think are going to open up again. And it's strange and it's quite difficult.
Well, yeah, I think at the times when they closed it did, because, you know, you're not around the like-minded people that you love, you know. A lot of us have similar interests, things in common, fancy each other, whatever. You know, we're like queer family. A lot of people move to London to have those spaces that they don't have wherever they're from.
When me and my first girlfriend went, and to be so open with each other, you know, to be able to have like PDA and, you know, those displays of affection that people take, like straight cis people take for granted, was so, it felt amazing. Just seeing everyone coexist and like at no fear of persecution made me feel so safe and made me feel so happy.
It's hard for queer people to kind of find opportunities to meet someone from a sexual perspective or a relationship perspective in just everyday life, not the same way that straight people can. And so in a lot of instances, the club is really the only place for a lot of gay people to kind of be able to meet in that perspective.
It's so upsetting to see all of these bars close because the history of queer liberation can be told through its nightlife spaces.
It's affected both what I do and then also my ability to kind of be joyful with people that I love being around. I don't think they really cared about a club night being virtual. They missed it, but they wanted it in real life, and I think that they didn't really care about watching something when they're stuck at home and they're going through some mental health shit, you know?
I live in a village of like 700 people. There's not really any gays there, and so not being around that part of my life for that amount of time did really have an effect on me.
We found it very, very, very hard to adjust to being at home because everything that we do is based on people being together, and that was the one thing that we couldn't do for the last year. From a perspective of me running a club night, we struggled. It was hard. It did give us a big realization that, wow, we've actually done something important and we've done something big. And it means a lot to people, and people missed it. And that meant a lot to me. That meant a lot to the people that I work with, and it was a great, it was humbling, and I'm anything but humble.
It's definitely made me more inclined to try and meet more queer people around me, not in a space that involves drinking, which I think is quite healthy.
In some ways it's a shame that most queer sort of spaces do revolve around nightlife, drinking, etc. But in a lot of ways it's good, it's escapism, it's what a lot of young and old queer people need.
We do have a duty of care as people that run nights to make sure that we're doing stuff that aren't just about alcohol.
We are currently in the midst of a kind of, in my eyes, I'm being incredibly dramatic here, but a queer renaissance. Like, I feel like everyone has been at home harnessing their talents, harnessing their energy that they want to give out to the world, kind of refining themselves, making themselves bolder, brighter, more in tune with who they are, more in tune with the person who they want to be. And I feel like once that everyone's allowed back together again, it's going to be beautiful.
If the clubs that we want aren't reopening, then we need to start our own wave of nightlife, and I think that's going to kickstart the next wave of nightlife.
I'm super excited for all the gay nights to come back and be able to just be around people again, you know, embrace and hug and snog, whatever.
I just want to be in a space that I can dance in again with a speaker that's louder than a computer. I want to see clothes. I want to see things that people are wearing. I just want to see everyone. I want to be touched. I want to touch every single person in the world, and I want to be touched by every single person in the world. And we've lost that for so long. And I want to sweat. I want to slip and slide. I want to take my clothes off. I just want to dance and just live everything.